Oil's up 5 or 6%, right?
Yeah, so we're talking about oil again, and the fact that tensions are ongoing with Iran. And the fact is, we've talked about this all along, that we don't think there are high odds of there being a resolution or a lasting resolution anytime soon. And you've got no regime change in Iran, and you've got these continued tensions now over the Strait of Hormuz. And my view is that Iran's still playing this game of trying to stall, stall, stall. They're hoping that at some point the Trump administration runs into a political brick wall, whether it's the opposing party here in the US or internationally from NATO or China, whoever, who says, look, we got to, just sort of negotiate and get to some sort of agreement that, perhaps comes short of the administration's goal of preventing Iran from ever having a nuclear weapon and taking control of their enriched uranium. And I don't think at the end that Iran really wants to uh, cave in on either of those. And if you look with the current regime, which again, there's been no regime change, and you look at their constitution, they have this is a religious war for them. We've said this before. This is not your normal party that you're trying to negotiate a deal with. They have a totalitarian goal to, globally have Islam be the dominant religion, and this is a religious war for them that they're fighting to the death. And so I think it's going to be extremely difficult to, with the current regime in Iran or what has been the regime. And again, it's not clear who is in charge over there. It's going to be very difficult to reach an agreement that meets the goals or objectives of the Trump administration as they've laid them out. So, this is going to continue to be a game of cat and mouse and a game of stall and deception. And, we'll see how this all plays out. And it's very difficult, I think, for the Trump administration, because the longer this goes on, the more pushback they're going to get politically, both domestically and along the international front. So, we'll see whether Trump says, look, that is a risk, and we just pull the trigger fast and quick and, go to the next stage of what he's threatened of blowing up all their bridges and power plants, or whether they sort of continue to negotiate. But at this stage, it looks like any sort of negotiation or lasting ceasefire is not likely or off the table.
Do you think there's a chance, because there's like a theory in my head, which is that the U.S. wants to keep this going, right? So if you look at exports of LNG or oil in the U.S., they just hit an all-time high last month. So boats will come, contracts, we reprice security, stability of oil, like, and gas. Like, is there a something to be said that maybe the US is actually the guys who are prolonging this? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
don't think
everybody thinks it's Iran, but like maybe it's us.
I don't think so, because you've got this big political hurdle for the Trump administration or Republicans in high energy prices. And the one thing that the Trump administration Republicans do not want is high energy prices and this continued higher cost of living to extend into September during the midterm elections. That is the worst thing that could happen. One of the worst things that could possibly happen for Republicans come the midterms is to be out there, fighting against the Democrats, pointing to the higher cost of living and these higher energy prices because of this war. That it's
I
clear. I
hear
think that one thing Trump wants, he wants lower oil prices. He wants lower oil prices quick. But is there somebody
does
in the
he?
U.S.?
Does he? I mean, why
He
would
wants
why
lower
would you?
gasoline prices, I think, is more to
Yeah,
the point.
Well,
gasoline.
Gasoline
Yeah,
prices.
yes, that's the same thing, right? Like, that's just a
No,
refined product oil.
but
Like,
hydrocarbons flow into a lot of other products that we wear. I mean, this jacket I'm wearing is, there's hydrocarbon products in it. So almost every aspect of our lives are impacted by higher energy costs.
100% agree with that. But I'm just saying that the U.S. is the largest oil producer in the world, the
Hmm.
largest LNG exporter in the world. We're
Yep.
It's very different than, like, if you think about pre GFC. I remember in like the Q3 of '08, where like we're like sub 6 million barrels. It's just a different world now. Higher energy prices benefit the United States. Like, it might not benefit the average guy. So your point is taken, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like we can sacrifice a little bit at the pump for maintaining dollar dominance, maintaining the empire. And I think that that level of analysis is where things kind of like break down for this whole. I mean, how is Iran actually controlling the Strait of Hormuz with no navy? Like I have no idea, and I know you don't either. And so we're just gonna speculate. But like, if we're talking about like oil here, where is the next move? Like, I thought that it got oversold. We got a little 5% bump. Would you buy or sell it here?
On oil at $87 a barrel, it's tough. If I had to take the over or the under, I'd probably still, my bias would be slightly more to the over. Still,
I I agree with that. I agree with that.
I
Like
mean, it's gonna be.
it's tough. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'm just saying that like it is a weird situation where like oil is kind of dictating everything right now. And the market has gone from like this high beta to oil to like low, and now it seems like the beta is too low in essence. I mean, let me ask you one
To your
other
point
question.
of to your point
Go
of
ahead.
the U.S. wanting to dominate the global energy market, I think they would with lower energy prices. If they could do that and keep energy prices down, they would. But right now, we got this issue of 20% of the global crude trade being blocked in the Strait of Hormuz or being slowed down, and U.S. oil production is not going to ramp up here. None of these companies are going to go out and start drilling more wells with the uncertainty of long term. Where is the price going to be? And yes, we're going to continue to ramp up LNG, and natural gas prices in the US are pretty punk right now in this shoulder period, down below $2.70. So, when you come to the stocks here, we were talking about this before the show started. I haven't sold anything. I haven't written any covered calls. I'm holding on to the names that I own. Oil's going to continue to.
Hi, I'm David Maris. If you like what you just heard, we've tracked every single pick we make on the show, every ticker, every thesis, every entry price, over 1,100 picks and counting. We put it together in a free report with our top 10 performers, the reasoning behind each one, and a preview of our full dashboard. If you want access, the link is in the description.